Hello everyone. Thanks for joining me in this live session. My name is Brianna, the fitness coordinator for the Student Rec Center, and I'm actually here to end off our virtual DIY spa week with a What's Cooking segment. And this is gonna have some sort of a spa-like addition to it. And so we're really gonna focus on health and nutrients in this particular spa recipe that we're putting together. As well as when you go to a spa, you often think of yourself eating something that's light, that's very refreshing, and that brings a lot of joy to you overall. And so we don't want to make something that's too heavy, but rather something that's light, something that is delicious and definitely jam-packed with the nutrients and antioxidants that you're looking for in a healthful diet or recipe. And so what we're going to be making today is a spinach, strawberry, and mango salad. And then after that, I'm going to show you how to wash all that down with a healthy form of water. And so it's an infused water that we're going to put together, and that's going to be with strawberries, limes, and basil. And so it's going to be really good recipe that we're putting together here, fairly quick and easy. Just real quick, I kind of want to show you some of the items that you'll need. You'll see a few items here next to the blender. And so these items are going to be necessary in order to make our dressing. And so we're going to make our own balsamic vinaigrette here today. And in addition to that, the items back here are gonna be the items that you will need for the salad. So for the salad, you're just gonna need some spinach. In this bowl here, I believe I have about, I'd say it's probably about 10 ounces. And so that's about half of a full pack of spinach if you were to get the family pack. And so I took about half of that, a little bit over half actually, cleaned it up, just put it in a bowl here. And then I went ahead and took some fresh mangoes and cut that up for our salad as well. Now, mangoes are really good in regards to it's a low calorie fruit. And so you can eat a lot of this. You probably shouldn't, but you can eat a lot of it because it is low calorie. It does have a lot of fiber if you're eating it with the skin as well. And so this is a really good fruit to have in our salad if we're looking for that low calorie content as well as that refreshing scent. You're definitely going to get that from the mango. Again, you don't want to go too crazy with the mangoes, but just note that it is a low calorie fruit as well as high in fiber. And then we have our strawberries here, and I just got both of these fresh from my local grocery store. Just washed them up and cut these into halves. And from here, we want to put these in our salad, and we're also going to put it in our infused water. So for the water, I have about a cup sitting to the side for that. And for the salad, I have about 2 cups sitting to the side. Now, strawberries are going to be really good for you. Obviously, they're full of antioxidants, polyphenols. They are really good for you to have in your diet, and it's a really good fruit for you to take in. And so, again, another one for us to have in our salad today, or another option for us to have in the salad. We also have some pecans here, and so I just took some pecans, I put it onto a cookie sheet and turned on the oven to about 350 degrees. From there, I placed my pecans in the oven and just left them there to toast for about 8 to 10 minutes. And this is really good because those smells, the aroma is really gonna come out of those pecans, and it's gonna be really good on that salad. And so once I was done, I sat them to the side and let them cool off for about 5 minutes, placed them on a cutting board and just chopped those up. And those are my pecans for you. And I think I said almonds a few times. Those are my pecans for you. So if you want to just do a raw version of pecans, you certainly can. You don't have to roast them or toast them in the oven, but you certainly can. And as I mentioned, I decided to. So yes, when it comes down to the pecans, this was roughly, well, I'd say I used about 3/4 cup. So about 3/4 cup or a half cup of pecans will do you just fine for this recipe. 2 cups for the strawberries, and then about 1.5 cups of the mangoes. I just took 1 large mango and utilized that, chopped it up for our recipe today. And I did forget to mention, but spinach is Very high in vitamin K, vitamin A. You also have some B vitamins in here, but it's gonna be really high in that vitamin K. And so if you're looking for that particular nutrient in your diet, spinach is definitely gonna be an easy and affordable way for you to get that. So like I said, for the salad, we just kind of need these 4 main ingredients, but for the vinaigrette, you're gonna need a little bit more. So for the vinaigrette, which is something we're gonna make, we're gonna have our blender. And so if you have a blender, you wanna go ahead and use that. If you have a quick mixer, you can also use that. Or if you don't have either, feel free to just pour them into a mixing jar, or you can put it into a measuring cup, and then you can use a whisk and whisk up these items to make a really good vinaigrette. So some of the things that you want to use, we have our coarse kosher salt. I'd like to use kosher salt. It's really good, has great flavor to it. You can also use regular table salt if that's what you have available. We also have peppercorn. Again, you can use regular black peppercorn or coarse black pepper if you have it. Also, you can use a balsamic vinaigrette or just balsamic vinegar in general. Some honey, Dijon honey mustard, or just Dijon mustard. I'm just using regular Dijon mustard for this particular sauce. And then poppy seeds. And so this is an optional thing. You don't have to use poppy seeds, especially if you don't have them readily available at home, but it really will kind of liven up that sauce for you. So I'm going to start by placing in about 1/4 cup of that vinegar, that balsamic vinegar that I have, into my blender to start that sauce. Now, what I have here in particular, this is more so a vinaigrette, and so it's already gonna have those oils within it, so I don't need to add any extra oils. If you're using an balsamic vinegar and not a vinaigrette, then you're probably gonna wanna add a little bit of oil. And so I would add about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to this so that you can kind of thicken it up and give yourself those healthy fats that we wanna see in a salad as well as in our sauce. So we're gonna place that in there. Like I said, I'm using a vinaigrette, which has a lot of oil already in it, and so I'm not gonna add any additional extra virgin olive oil, but I certainly can if I'd like. Then I'm gonna go ahead and place some honey in there, and for the honey, we're just gonna use 1 tablespoon. And so I'm probably off camera here, but I'm just measuring that out over my blender and then pouring that honey in. Right. And if you've been joining me all week for our spa night or DIY spa week festivities, I spoke a lot about honey and it being a great agent for healing. It's a natural sugar, especially if you're using the raw form. And so we don't want any added sugar in our honey, seeing that our body is going to recognize the most natural form as sugar as is. And so we don't want to add more processed sugar to that, which is why we emphasize a more raw and pure form of honey to utilize in these recipes. So after I place in the honey, I'm then going to place in about a 1/4 teaspoon, of my Dijon mustard. And so I'll just take my little measuring spoon here, place that in, and give that a good shake in there. Awesome. Place that to the side. Now for the poppy seeds, you're gonna wanna use about a tablespoon of poppy seeds. And so we'll go back to our tablespoon here that we used for the honey. Put in about 1. You can do a little less than that. You don't have to do that whole thing. That's totally fine. Be careful with poppy seeds. They get everywhere when you drop them. You'll be cleaning it up forever and a day. Awesome. So once I've got my poppy seeds in there, next thing I'm gonna wanna add, and lastly, would be my salt and pepper. And so I like to eyeball it. If you're not an eyeballer like myself, you can totally measure this out. I would probably do about 1/8 teaspoon. You don't even need to do 1/4. This might be too much. And so 1/8 teaspoon would be really good for both the salt and pepper. Like I said, I'm just gonna kind of eyeball mine. Just a couple shakes there. Same goes for my pepper, just to give it a little flavor. And that's it. So at this point, we wanna go ahead and start our blender. mix up all of those ingredients so that we can have a nice vinaigrette to go over with our salad. And while I'm doing that, I'm just gonna move my items out of the way here. So here we go, let's go ahead and blend. So for mine, I see now as it's mixing that I'm gonna need a little bit more sauce. And so that's okay to add a little bit more vinegar, or adding some more oil if you need to. We don't want it to be too watered down, but we also don't want it to be too thick. So let's go ahead and mix that up now. Awesome. Oh, that's great. Yeah, so you should have a really good vinaigrette, homemade vinaigrette that you make for yourself. You can always buy balsamic vinaigrette from the store. Another option would even be to add in another type of dressing. This is a strawberry poppy seed dressing that I really love using on my salads. And so you can use something like this. I love this one because it doesn't really have a lot of added ingredients or unnecessary ingredients in this, and so it looks really good. There is a little bit of added sugar in here, and being that we already have strawberries in our recipe, this might be a little excessive. So you probably won't use a strawberry dressing on this already strawberry and mango salad, but you certainly can if you'd like, really focusing on a low sugar or no sugar, added sugar to that dressing. So we're just gonna go ahead and allow for our balsamic vinaigrette to rest over here on the side. And then we're just gonna throw all of the ingredient items together so that we can make our salad. So as I mentioned before, I have spinach in my bowl here, and it's roughly about 10 ounces. So just put that in a bowl, nothing else. And then from there, we're just gonna add in the rest of our ingredients, which will be our mangoes. That's about a cup of mangoes. Like I said, I took one large mango from the grocery store and just utilize that for this recipe. I think that it would be plenty. The next thing that we're going to do is add in, sorry, I'm trying to get my wooden spoons here. Then we're just gonna add in our strawberries. And as I mentioned before, I have about 2 cups in here. You don't have to add all of it. Again, I'm just gonna eyeball it. I know how much I like, and I don't really like too much, especially if I already have the sweetness of those mangoes in my salad. And then the last thing is going to be my roasted pecans. And so we'll just take that and put that in there. And that was roughly about a half cup. So once we've got all of our ingredients in the bowl, we can just go ahead and start mixing it up. Get it worked around in there. Now, if you are more of a savory person and you kind of want to add a little bit of acidity to this particular salad, feel free to add some red onions. So if you cut those up really fine, kind of, soak them in some water so that they're not too overbearing, you can totally use that. That's not something that I personally like, but I know that it is a great addition to salads. And so if you are that person and you want to add that, you totally can. Looks like all my strawberries and mangoes just hit the bottom. So bear with me as I try to pull them up top. Cool. So we've got everything mixed up. We've got our mangoes, we've got our pecans, our roasted pecans, we have our spinach, strawberries, everything's in here. The last thing that needs to be put into this salad is going to be our vinaigrette, and that's in our blender over here to the side. I am like really struggling to put these strawberries and mangoes back at the top. I'm trying to make it pretty and it's not working with me right now. All right, good enough, good enough. So at this point, I'm just gonna take that blended vinaigrette that we put together, and I'm just gonna pour that over my salad. Now, if you're making this as a meal prep, you don't have to pour that vinaigrette over your salad just yet. You can pack it on the side so that you have something to utilize later on in the week. You can kind of eyeball how much dressing you want on your salad, and so it's totally acceptable if you don't want to put all of that sauce on your salad right now. That's totally fine. So you eyeball it, do whatever you feel is necessary. I'm probably going to eat all of this today with my boyfriend, and so I'm just gonna mix it all up, kind of prepare it. There we go. Come on, mangoes and strawberry. Awesome. And like I said, I have some leftover strawberry here, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of that and kind of drizzle it over for my own liking. Like I said, you can add as much as you like. And that's essentially it. That is our spinach, strawberry, and mango salad, packed with vitamins, vitamins B, vitamin K, and A. You also have a lot of fiber and healthy fats coming out of that pecan. The mango is full of fiber as well, as in addition to it is a low calorie fruit. And so it's a great fruit for you to be able to take in without having to worry about the additional kilocalories that might be coming from it. So that's our salad, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, from there, we are gonna go ahead and push this to the side so that I can show you how to make that infused water. Now, the infused water is mainly for a couple of reasons. We want to make sure that we are hydrated each and every day. And in order to be hydrated, we've got to drink tons of water. And I know that there are a lot of people that don't necessarily like water. You may not like the taste of water. You may not drink a lot as is. Or maybe if you're the person who has successfully found a water substitute like Buble, you may like a water that is more flavored. And this is okay. And you can make this naturally yourself. And that's essentially what I'm gonna show you for this infused water portion. It's guaranteed to taste really good. In addition to that, you can guarantee that you'll get your hydration in for the day if you like it. So all you need for this is a pitcher. You're going to need about 1 cup of chopped strawberries. I took 1 large lime. I peeled the outside of the lime, and then I cut that lime up into small slices. And then I just have some basil leaves, some whole basil leaves here. So you don't want to use this seasoning, but rather the actual leaves themselves. So from here, I'm just gonna fill up my pitcher with about, I'd say about 1 quart of water. So I'm doing that off camera here. And make sure that the water is nice and cold. You don't want it to be hot or warm water. And it's very simple. Again, this is a great way for those of you who have a sweet tooth, or you may not like water as much and you realize that you're not staying as hydrated as you need to. This is a great way to kind of add some flavors and really make that water a lot more pleasing for you. So very simple. After we get our water in the pitcher, all you're gonna do is just add all the ingredients. It's as simple as that. And so everything, all of the nutrients that you would get out of the strawberries and out of the limes, that's all gonna come together in this one drink. So you're gonna get a lot of benefit just by putting this in water. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix this up with a wooden spoon here. And the idea is to keep this capped and in the refrigerator for about, I'd say about 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours, because you really want to get the nutrients that are in the lime, that are in the basil, as well as the strawberries. You really want that to seep into that water so that you're getting as much benefit as possible from this drink. And so that's essentially it, folks. A really quick, really spa-like version of a really quick meal that you can make that is nutrient dense. It's very tasty and it's very filling as well. Again, you've got a lot of fiber in here, from the spinach down to the mangoes. And so you've got a lot of fibers just in this salad in itself. And then a refreshing drink to be able to have an infused drink with strawberry, lime, strawberry, lime, and our basil leaves. That's gonna provide you with a lot of jam-packed vitamins as well. And so make sure that, again, when you put this together, you mix it up really well, place a cap on it, and then put that in the refrigerator for about 3 to 4 hours so that you can ensure that all of those nutrients are seeping into the water. So that's pretty much it for what's cooking. I hope you all enjoyed that. This is a really great, really tasty and budget-friendly recipe for you. So I'm really hoping that you liked it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our email is src@rrcc.edu. You can always DM us on our Facebook and Instagram accounts. We love your suggestions and all of the feedback that you have for us. So please keep that coming. We want to learn from you, as well as I would like to know what are some other recipes that you all would like to see made for our What's Cooking segment. Our next What's Cooking segment is on Friday, December 4th. So make sure that you join us. We'll be posting the information for that recipe here soon. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoy your salad as well as your infused water. Stay stress-free, folks, and take great care of yourself.